When Apple released the 3rd generation iPhone SE at their 2022 March event, it was met with a lot of confusion and backlash because it was essentially identical to the 2nd generation iPhone SE, which in turn was almost identical to the iPhone 8 from 2017. And as such, this phone carries many of the same disadvantages as the iPhone 8, which isn't the best news in 2022. But don't be fooled by the outdated exterior of this iPhone SE, because despite its aging enclosure, this phone actually has quite a few distinct advantages over its competition in that $400 to $500 price range. Now don't get me wrong, because this phone is far from perfect, but I'll be leaving all of my nitpicky deep dive thoughts for my full review, so make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my full review of the 2022 iPhone SE. But without any further ado, let's get right into this video. Now starting off, the first thing we have to talk about is the A15 chip, because this is one of the very few changes that Apple actually made to the iPhone SE, and it's probably one of the most significant. Because the A15 chip in the iPhone SE is identical to the A15 chip in the iPhone 13. This means you're getting identical levels of performance and efficiency in the iPhone SE when compared to the iPhone 13, which is a pretty incredible feat for a phone that costs $430. There's actually quite a funny side effect to the iPhone SE having the A15 chip, because this tiny little iPhone is more powerful than any Android phone you can get right now, including phones like the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, which has this flagship Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip, which is a powerful chip in itself, but the A15 chip is just on another level of power and efficiency. But don't worry, because I'm hearing you loud and clear. Why would anyone in their right mind want that much power in a smartphone of this caliber? And the fact of the matter is, that amount of power today is not going to make a single difference when it comes to your actual day-to-day usage of this phone. But the level of power 5 years down the line is going to make a massive difference. For example, the original iPhone SE, which was released in 2016, is still receiving iOS updates to this day. And that spells fantastic news for anyone who's looking to buy this iPhone SE and use it for the long haul, because this phone will remain fast and speedy thanks to A15 chip and still receive the latest versions of iOS 5, 6 or even 7 years down the line, which is a major factor for this phone, especially at its budget price point. Speaking of software, this iPhone SE, because it's an iPhone, runs iOS, and for many people looking for a budget phone, that is a major factor of consideration. As of right now, the 2022 iPhone SE is the cheapest way to get into the Apple ecosystem through a brand new iPhone, and for some people that means a lot. If you're the type of person who values the Apple ecosystem, by simply getting this phone, you're unlocking the ability to access iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop, Handoff, and a host of other Apple ecosystem features that are exclusive to Apple devices. And if you have friends or family who have Apple devices, or even have a few Apple devices of your own, the iPhone SE is a great way to unlock even more features in the Apple ecosystem. And one of the most overlooked aspects of iOS running on a device like the iPhone SE is that the actual iOS experience has the same level of consistency, optimization, and stability as on the most expensive iPhone. My overall software experience between the cheapest iPhone SE and the most expensive iPhone 13 Pro Max is essentially identical, because this means I can run the same apps, games, and do the exact same things to the exact same extent on both phones without skipping a beat. And the reason I'm making such a big deal out of this is because most Android manufacturers tend to give a better software experience to their more expensive phones, but leave their more budget-friendly phones in the dust when it comes to software experience, longevity, and optimization. But Apple doesn't do that, because Apple gives the same iOS experience across all of their devices, which I think is one of the best ways to tackle budget devices as a whole. But now let's shift the focus to the cameras, and not specifically the camera hardware or even photo or video samples, because I want to leave all of that for the full review, but rather the camera optimization, especially in third-party apps. By now it's no big secret that camera optimization in third-party apps on Android phones is essentially non-existent. When it comes to using the in-app cameras in apps like Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok on an Android phone, the actual in-app camera quality tends to be a lot worse than the actual camera quality in the native camera apps on Android phones. This is because Android phones are really badly optimized when it comes to social media apps and camera integration in third-party apps. All of this comes down to the fact that there are so many different Android phones with different hardware combinations, and it's really hard to optimize between all the hardware and software for every single Android phone. But that isn't the case for iPhones, because even the cheapest iPhone SE has excellent optimization when it comes to cameras and third-party apps. So when it comes down to it, if you're a heavy user of social media apps and you're looking for a phone in this price range for the best social media experience, the iPhone SE is probably going to give you the best results, because the camera optimization on this phone absolutely decimates any of the Android competition in this price segment. At the beginning of this video, I talked about how the iPhone SE 3 is basically identical to the iPhone SE 2, which in turn is identical to the iPhone 8. And while this may seem like a bad thing on the face of it with the massive bezels and the old design and the small screen, this actually has quite a few advantages. Because even back in 2017 when the iPhone 8 originally launched, it had a really solid build quality, and that carries through to the 2022 iPhone SE. There's glass on the front and glass on the back, surrounded by a curved aluminium frame, and when it comes to the in-hand feel and build quality in general, the iPhone SE is nothing short of A grade. Almost every single Android phone in this price segment tends to resort to plastic frames and plastic backs, which are generally much lower quality than the glass and aluminium we have in the iPhone SE, so in terms of build quality, the iPhone SE is definitely pulling ahead. But this phone takes it one step further because it also has certification for IP67 water and dust resistance. And as soon as it starts saying that, it starts raining, which I guess is the best of timing and the worst of luck. And to top it all off, the iPhone SE also has support for Qi wireless charging, which is basically a non-existent feature in other phones at this price range. But that brings me to the end of this video, which again wasn't a review of the iPhone SE, but a look into how this phone has very distinct advantages over its competition in the same price range. And the rain is really annoying me right now, holy crap. So I guess there's no better time like the present to end this video, so thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a huge thumbs up, subscribe for more tech content, turn on those notifications, and leave any thoughts or comments you have in the comment section. And with that being said, my name's Ramal, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.